It's every New Zealand property developer's worst nightmare. You buy the land, design the homes, line up the funding, and then the council says, actually, you can't build for another 10 years. That's what happened to investor John Kennell. So if you care about building anything in New Zealand, you need to watch this.
Financial freedom faster. Financial freedom faster.
If you like making money rather than watching everyone else do it, hit that subscribe button and get ahead, because this is New Zealand's fastest growing real estate and investment show. More people are tuning in here last week than any other property show. So John, what is going on in Hamilton?
Right, what's going on in Hamilton is what seems to be going on in the rest of the country. And I've had thousands of messages from people all around the country saying the same thing, that they're experiencing what we are, which is councils holding them back. You know, layers of red tape, just hold-ups, extra costs, and worse still, what's often happening is that, you know, people just can't move ahead with their developments at all.
The property development is basically stopped, not because of finance, not because of the economic situation, but poor infrastructure planning.
Lack of infrastructure is the bottom line. Yes, that's what's held me up on a couple of sites now. So Hamilton have red zoned about half of the city, where you can't do any further development. But what really got me was one of the sites. It's 2 minutes walk from the McDonald's and Fry Crossroads. This is an area that's been designated high density for many, many years. I did a development there about probably 12 years ago, I guess. And it's one of the areas that Hamilton City say is a focus for their intensification. In fact, last year, my site, which I only intend on building two-story, 2-bedroom townhouses, it was upzoned to 6 levels that I can build there as of right, except I can't build anything at all. After I put in lodged my resource consent, I found out that there's no infrastructure available in that area, and they don't know when there will be.
So what's the likely solution for this? There's no quick fix, I'm imagining.
There is no quick fix. Councils have been, I think they've been underinvesting for quite a long time. There's been a lot of focus, I think, in greenfield subdivisions. That seems to be the area of interest, and there hasn't been that reinvestment in a city. So I just build in a city, okay? Most of what I've built, I've done about 1,000 units now in Hamilton, walking distance from the hospital, the university, and around the CBD. I build affordable rental housing, okay? In areas of highest demand where I know there are a lot of tenants, where I know people want to live. And I've spent millions over the last 21 years in development contributions and other council fees. And, you know, what I asked council the other day was, where has the money gone? Right? I mean, I see cycleways and speed humps and all kinds of other wonderful things. But, you know, if you can't bring in water and take away wastewater, you can't build a house. It's as simple as that.
And is there a 50-year plan needed with relating to infrastructure, or these kinds of decisions and allocation of money should it be taken away from councils?
There are a number of potential solutions. I think infrastructure is number one, right? If I had a chance to sit down with the housing minister, with Chris Bishop, I would say that, hey, Chris, there's only one thing you need to focus on now, and that's infrastructure, right? Councils have not got the money to upgrade the infrastructure to where it needs to be to allow us to continue building houses. And we can argue over where that money's gone, and did they spend it on other things? Did they, when the last government said, hey, we're bringing in 3 waters and we're going to take away all your infrastructure, did councils stop and take that budget and spend it somewhere else? I don't know. But what we do know is they haven't got the money. They've got lending caps. Government needs to assist. Government needs to come in and help sort out this infrastructure issue.
How has this impacted your property outlook? Well, what are you envisaging for the next 5 years with the property values and what's going to happen?
Well, it looks to me like we're building up for the next housing shortage. right? So, and it's hard to imagine right now because, as we all know, there's an overhang of listings around the country, something like 30,000 properties on the market. But I think some of that is due to overbuilding of certain types of property. In Auckland, for example, there seems to be, there are a few too many townhouses built. I wonder if some of it is that, a lot of the people who left New Zealand, especially heading for Australia, were perhaps homeowners, and they're being replaced by people who are not buying homes. Maybe people coming in, maybe lower skilled with less funds. They're going to take some time to establish themselves and get into a position where they can qualify for a mortgage. And you can't even buy a house if you're not a Kiwi, right? So I imagine there's some kind of delay for new immigrants to actually get the necessary permits to be able to buy a home.
A reminder, money's not polite, it moves fast, and the people subscribed to this channel, they're already running past you. Thinking about it won't save you, subscribing might. How are you going to make the most of your current portfolio? Are you looking more towards temporary solutions, granny flats, tiny homes? Like, what options do you have?
Okay, I don't think anything has changed in terms of the housing cycle, right? I think we will have another housing boom like we've had them in the past. Rents will go up, house prices will go up. It's just a matter of time. So for me, nothing has really changed. I've lived through a couple of cycles now, I don't know, 3 or 4, and the same thing always happens. And our economic system hasn't changed, right? Where governments are still overspending, they're still having to borrow and print to get the money to cover up, to pay for all their schemes. And, we pay for that in inflation, right? And that means that house prices are going to keep going up, rents are going to keep going up, salaries are going to keep going up. It's just a matter of time.
And you're finding that there's a construction constraint in Hamilton as well as with relating to labor and the costs?
Not really. No, we could do a lot more building. I mean, I'm building 10 houses at the moment. One small development here in Cambridge that I'm building to keep myself. I've owned the land for a long time. We could easily be doing, 100 homes. When COVID hit, I had 10 projects under construction across Hamilton, all at the same time. And now I got one little one, and it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm reassessing. Everything just feels a bit too hard at the moment. It's like the councils they're supposed to be there to support us, to facilitate growth, to work with builders and developers. It just really feels like it's us and them. And that the real reason they're there is to try and put the brakes on, try to stop us. And it's just got too tough at the moment.
You've been in the Hamilton area for a very long time. You must still have a positive outlook on the economy and the project kind of opportunities there.
Yep, definitely. I'm all of my own rental property is in Hamilton and Cambridge. Okay, nowhere else. Now, a lot of people would tell you that's crazy. You need to diversify, and I should have a property in Auckland and maybe in Melbourne and whatever. But I've kind of taken the Warren Buffett approach to investing. I mean, he said something along the lines of, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket really closely. And that's very much the case for my property investment and for my property development. I like to keep an eye on the rentals, and an advantage I have is that some of our team, carry out maintenance. So we make sure we can keep all our rentals looking tidy and, keeping them up to scratch, and having them locally makes that a lot easier to do. And also from the development perspective, I can't imagine going into another city and trying to learn how to do a development there. I mean, it's hard enough getting consents in a city I've worked in for 21 years. So I think sticking to your knitting is a pretty important thing to do. If I do a development, then of course I'm hiring, architects and engineers and surveyors. And then once we start, we're on to builders and plumbers and electricians. But then it permeates out. When we buy carpet, it's the retail store. And then there's a wholesaler who sends them the carpets. And then there are accountants and real estate agents. So construction is a massive industry. So many people benefit from it. But it all starts with a developer making a commitment to do a development, right? To take that risk and put their money on the line, and then it all feeds off that. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing these 10 houses in Cambridge today is just to keep my guys going, and not that they work just for me, but it's I almost feel like I can afford to continue to develop. So because I can, I feel like I should,
A reminder, every video on this channel is a tactical edge. If you own property, want to own property, or just hate falling behind, subscribe, or keep losing to people who already have.